Hello, welcome to the ultimate guide to a free-to-play player's crystal tech progression journey, or chart, whatever you call it. Anyway, we're going to go through what you really need to do as a free-to-play player to make sure that your crystal tech might not get to the same level as a pay-to-win player, let's be honest, but gives you the best possible chance of competing in Season of Conquest. A lot of points, some obvious, some not so obvious. Get on to it, my friend. Let's get on to it. We shall begin, friends, by having a sip of vodka and coke. Now that's out of the way, we shall begin by assuming you have a rudimentary grasp of how crystal tech and crystal research work. Effectively what it is, what the point of it is. Basically, it's temporary boosts in Season of Conquest KVKs. There we go. If you don't know much about it, I suggest watching a video which gives you a more rudimentary grasp. I'm going to assume everyone watching it knows what it is and basically is trying to ask the question, or answer the question, how do I get more of it? And I've written what I believe to be an exhaustive list of how to acquire crystals in Season of Conquest KVK. We're going to talk about them, go through them all, give some tips for that, and then we'll go on to how to spend crystals best way before working out at the end of any miscellaneous things and other tips. So, how to acquire crystals. Number one, the crystal mine. See it here? How big the crystal mine, the more crystals you get out of it. The more bastions you've unlocked or leveled up, the quicker it does it. Simple. Number two, bastions. On those bastions, and we'll go on to what a good bastion task and what a bad bastion task is for this. Quite simply, though, it is a task you do. You do 15 of them a day. Level up favor, you get individual crystals for doing it. Once the favor goes up, you get a boost to your crystal mine work speed. Simple. Third, Kerouac whistle, which is related to bastions. Once you do certain ones, you get this whistle, which you can blow. A Kahar's bone whistle, that's the word we're looking for. You blow it, costs 200 AP, you get 45,000 crystals for doing it. Kerouac, which is the 5-time mini game you get throughout every Season of Conquest, where you beat a series of increasingly difficult bosses. Get some static income from that. Barbarian killing, lots to say about that. Barbarian forts, less to say about that. We'll go on to that in greater detail later. Two other ways I should mention. Number one is you get them from previous KVKs in the form of this. This being KVK 4, you do not get any of those, but from here onwards, provided you've spent some crystals throughout, you will get a nice supply of this. So I'm going to start next one with 3.3 million, which is nice. And the eighth, and sort of the cheaty way of doing it, which of course a lot of people do, but we're not doing for the case of this video, is you just buy crystals. You're going to buy crystals, buy the crystal quest thing from the research center, and buy the crystal supply from the shop. They're the best two things by an absolute mile. The pop-ups are very much the third best thing. After that, it's Modern Warfare, and after that, it's the Conqueror's Will bundle, or whatever it's called, the daily bundle. Very much in that order as well, but we're not going to talk about that. That's just a rough guide for how to do it. Anyway, first we go on to bastions, because my stance on this is that bastions are by far the most integral element of any free-to-play player's crystal tech journey. So, of course, only relevant to KVKs with bastions in. There are three types, as I see it, of bastion quests in every Season of Conquest KVK. There are the bad ones, as beautifully illustrated by this. The donation quests, avoid them. Avoid them, hit them with a shovel. Anything which requires you to donate food and donate pieces of any material, and especially that one, even if it's animal bones, piece of crap. Don't do them under any circumstances. You can just refresh. I mean, you can do 5 refreshes, then you get 1 refresh every 10 minutes. I would say you spend a huge amount of time at the beginning of a KVK refreshing bastions, because you get loads of crap quests like this. Get rid of them, they're tosh. So they're gone. Now, we've got the holy grail of bastion quests we're going to come on to later, but before then, we've got the decent ones. We've got this, we've got other ones that aren't shown on the screen, such as gather runes, that's pretty good. Use research speed-ups, that's pretty good. Use building speed-ups, that's pretty good. The reason why these are good is it doesn't matter about this KVK for specific Lost Kingdom map. It's simply because they give you a nice amount of favor, nice amount of crystals. They're not the best quests, but if you're, well, there's two things. One, if you're bored of refreshing, looking for the best quests, these are good ones to do. And second, I think there's an element of the game where it's difficult to get the best quests without doing some of the worst quests first. If you're going to do some worst quests, as in these are the best of the worst, so to speak. So anything which is defeat barbarians, particularly good. Beat Kahar, research speed ups, building speed ups, and gather runes. They're the 5 ones I grudgingly accept. They're not brilliant, give you a decent amount of crystal though. They're okay, I accept them. Holy Grail, however. Not just the earn the points by increasing your power, though that is one of them. It is any crystal Bastion quest that contains this Kahar's Whistle. So you can have earn points by increasing your power. You can have train, I think it's 110,000 worth of troops, not 110,000 troops. It's basically 9,000 tier 4 or 9,000 tier 4 to tier 5. So it's not ridiculous. Yeah, you'll use speed ups, but you get a lot back for it. Defeat Barbarian forts. You get 90 points, which is either 1 level 15 or more of the lower levels, or, which is my favorite, gather amount of wood, stone, food, or gold. Yeah, it takes a while, but you get a decent amount of crystal return, and you get the Kahar's Whistle. Everything, when it comes down to Bastions, is down to the Kahar's Whistle. Kahar's Whistle is 45,000 crystals, whether you're on day 50 or day 1 of KVK. And that leads me on, as I move this away here, to what is perhaps the most important point, like the mindset you've really got to get yourself into, is that 1,000 crystals on day 1 is better than 100,000 crystals on day 40. Sounds stupid, it sounds incredibly counterproductive, but everything in a free-to-play player's crystal tech journey is about getting your economy going. On to next. So the idea that you're doing crystal tech Bastion quests at the beginning that maybe don't give you many crystals, that you get 6,000, 7,000, the fact you get 45,000 bonus for anything with a whistle, fantastic. You can grind the whistles together, you can chain them. Basically, Bastion quests at the beginning of any KVK for me are about refreshing until I either get bored and do one of the average quests, or I can chain whistle quests together. I just want as many of those as possible. Secondary tip, which I will illustrate through here. Even though at level 6 you get the actual Bastion skill, so you get the support skill to unlock, which is very important for fighting. You need to get in the mind as a free-to-play player, your fighting is, you're not going to be at your best in Zone 5. Zone 7, 6, if there is any, ruins, altars, Kingsland, that's when you're aiming for. So you don't need to worry about unlocking all these things early on. Instead of just, for instance, getting Pelagius to level 6 here while all these are level 1, you want to get him to level 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. The reason being you get a better amount of crystal mine work speed if you even out commands as you're getting. The more crystal mine work speed you get early on, crystals you get, the more the snowball effect takes over. That's something we'll talk about a lot, the snowball effect. But Bastion Quest, there's a holy grail, anything with the whistle in, that's what you go for. You will hear me bang on about that word economy a lot, so we'll take a quick look into it. Economy is basically how you manage to get crystals out of the mine, as I see it, and how you manage to leverage the Crystal Research Center to improve the speed at which all the crystal stuff is acquired. So there's a load of ways of doing this. A load of people have very different views, a load of excellent videos. I like Socks does a fantastic video on what he thinks is the best free-to-play guide for crystal tech. I have lived and breathed this for 50 days. I would say my advised method of doing it. Step 1, get your crystal mine to level 25. That's the first thing to do. It's going to take a lot of crystals, obviously. Don't worry about the research first. This just gives you the best bang for your buck, gives you the smallest. It just basically it's the quickest way of getting crystals from your crystal mine, so why would you wait? Step 2, and this is more of a gradual process, you upgrade your Crystal Research Center to the minimum level you need until you've got disposable crystals, and you just ignore, in my opinion, everything that is combat related. You go entirely for Plunder, Karak's Gift, Treaters, Cultural Exchange, Treaters 2, Cultural Exchange 2, Skillful Operation 1, Skillful Operation 2, Plunder 2 to level 8, Carak's Gift 2 to level 8, and also Treatise 2 to level 8, Cultural 2 to level 8. Basically, my strategy is you ignore everything about combat until you've got these done. You just work out that the first zone 5, it's going to be difficult for you. It just is. Maybe you could do it differently and get, I don't know, a few more points in improved bows too. Yes, but then you'd be sacrificing a lot later on in the KVK. So the way I do it is I get what I call the economy set at best. So I get the most crystals earned from Bastion quests, the most favor earned from Bastion quests. This is a very underrated one. This, I would really advise you not to sleep on this. This one in particular for me, about this in a minute. Plunder 2, more crystals from defeating Barbarian patrols and Barbarian forts. Karak gives 2, static increase, never a bad idea. Skillful Operation 2, less crystal to research everything. Yes, all of this basically means you don't get stronger. It just means you get better at harvesting crystals. So it's kind of a circular logic at the beginning, because you're getting better at getting crystals so you can get more skills that make you better at getting crystals. That's kind of like, where's the end point? Well, the end point is once you've done all this eco tech, as I call it, and then you can start moving on to filling in the blanks, getting all these. The big step is getting attack formation to level 7, getting all these to level 10. Then, so basically you need to make sure you've got all the eco done before you do that, and then you're very much on the military development thing. So this, just for an idea, this is KVK 4 for me. It's the first time I've gone into it with this account. I managed to spend 89 million crystals on a free-to-play account. So it really does work. It really does work, as long as you get your eco up quickly. And the reason I've gone to Bastions first is what do you need to get the eco done? Well, you need crystals. How do you get more crystals? Well, you get your eco done. So it's this snowball effect that I keep talking about. And the best way of getting early crystals, in my mind, well, in everyone's mind, if you're not going to buy anything, is you go in here, you click on the Bastions, you click on this, keep pressing refresh until you get a good one. Crap, crap, crap. Not bad. I'd go on another one, refresh a few of those, see if we get a better one. And then what else do we have? We go donates, crap. There we go. At this point, I'd probably do the 2 gather runes ones because they give you a good crystal boost, and it's very likely to pop a holy grail. And again, by holy grail, we mean this kind of thing. Anything with a whistle. Anything 45k early on, gold dust. Really is gold dust. So Bastions are important. The reason they're important is they help you get your eco stuff going as quickly as possible. I use that word snowball a lot as well. Once you get it started, everything speeds up. But you need the big crystal influx at the beginning. Bastions are huge for that, and then you need your gradual stuff to go on. Plunder, that's an interesting one. Is there a way we can leverage killing all these barbs? Yes, there is. When people tell me I'm good at grinding, I don't think they only mean the dating app. I'm also good at killing barbarians. So what is grinding? I'm sure we all know. Grinding and chaining barbarians, grinding were better for the joke, let's be honest, is killing multiple barbarians with the same march. Not only do you get honor points, which give you some reward at the end of KVK. If I'm honest, as someone who's just spent most of his life doing this, I do not think, this is a bit of a segue from Crystal Tech, I do not think the amount of time I spent on honor points is well played, is well reflected by a conquest coin, 5 heads, 1 equipment material chest. That's by the by. That is by the by. But getting this, if we go back onto it, chaining barbarians gives you, not only does it give you crystals, gives you, the baseline is 400 crystals per barbarian, each one costing 80 AP base point. If you're using a commander that's peacekeeping talent, or if you're killing more than one and go, so first one will be 80, then it's 78, etc, etc. So you start with 400 crystals. You can go up to 750 with the max crystal tech, with the highest level barbs, like 55, I believe, gives you 750, whereas 41 gives you 400 without any boosts and with maximum boost. Anyway, we're going on and on. Basically, grinding barbarians is huge. The reason I've done this, not just for the honor roll, although I did push at the end to make sure I got in the top 20 because I got so close. The reason I did this was because I wanted crystal. You get a colossal amount of free crystals from killing barbarians. Not only that, You get speed ups, you get, well, actually, you lose resources, but you get loads of speed ups and you get loads of materials. It's the best way of material accumulation as a free to play player. All I would say is if you are new to Season of Conquest, you're free to play, you don't know how to compete, you don't know how to join in and really get there. Once you've got your economy going, once you understand what you're doing, Bastions, just grind Barbarians constantly. Don't worry too much about Barbarian forts. Yes, do a few of them, but grinding, chaining Barbarians is the most important element. To do so, you're going to need the right commanders, which we shall move on to now. The perceptive amongst you will identify that it's a different day in different clothes, but that notwithstanding, Barbarian grinding. Right, there are two things to follow, basically. Have a tanky primary commander. Whoa, check. Have a area of effect secondary commander. Let's go through the best primary. So the best primary is almost certainly one I don't use on this account. Where is he? Big old Richard. It is difficult for Richard to die. I think he probably needs to be 3-1-1-1 minimum, sorry, to have any sort of thing. You do need some of the healing. Richard is by far the best primary. Just stick him on your best formation. It doesn't matter. You don't need a set of gear specifically for him. Just put your main infantry gear on Richard. Job's a good one. So Richard, best commander for barb grinding. Second is probably Huo. He's definitely the best cav commander. You have to have him maxed, which is a little bit when you realize that Huo's expertise, it kind of changes things a little bit for him. It's very good for this particular thing, though. When you defeat a barbarian, you get a 3,000 healing factor effect. So basically, if you've got 210,000 troops, you heal about 6,000. If you've got more, you heal proportional to that. Huo's very, very good as a primary for doing it. Other good ones to use, excuse me, Martel is pretty damn good. Just he's tanky, he's got a big shield, doesn't get any heal, but paired with someone else, he's pretty good. The other ones I'd recommend, you can use Cao Cao as kind of a backup to Huo. I'd also recommend, if you've got her, which I don't on this account, where is the old girl? Boudica. Boudica's expertise, sorry, level 4 if you've got it, gives a 800 healing factor. It's not huge, but it's the same as 3-1-1-1 Richards. It's pretty good. Boudica's got a load of sustain. And finally, the other one I'd recommend, there may be some I'm missing. I'm sure there are, but these are just the ones I recommend. The other one I'd recommend, if I can find her somewhere, here we go, Zenobia, simply because she has a nice little 1400 healing factor. So stick any of those as your primary commander. Best strategy. And then second, you need an area of effect command. You can do it with someone like Ethelfled if you're a madman, because she does a she does 5 enemy troops, but it's in a fan. You don't want a fan, you want an area of effect circle. You can do the fan if you're more patient than I am, but you know, if you are more patient than I am, you're a madman or madwoman. Women are mad too. Best one, in my opinion, the reason I got him max so early on, YSG. Well, I mean, Zug is better, but YSG you can get straight away, get some early benefit from him. You've got 3 relics. Simple reason, you get yourself a nice little circle of damage. So YSG's top tier for it. Zug also top tier, not much to say about those two. Other ones might be slightly more surprising. You can do it with Cyrus. There's a load of archers in here. Cyrus does work, bizarrely enough. Not many people have Cyrus. They're new to the game, though. Not many people also have this unless they're a bit stronger. So I would say, where is he? Where is he? There we go. Heraclius. Heraclius is really good at this. He has a 5 circle, not much damage. He's got a shield. He's got a health bonus. Heraclius is excellent for barbarian chaining. So Heraclius is one of them. And the final one you can use, again, not a great one. This is another garrison commander, but it does work. You do a slight bit of damage if I can find her. Oh, sorry. Lapu is one as well, but again, it's a very new one. Lapu's one, and so is Theodora. So, you know, there are plenty of garrison and archer commanders who are good at it. The ideal is you'd have, for instance, Richard, YSG, Martel, Zug. Don't worry about troop mismatch. Just have your best equipment on and make sure the troop correlates with the primary. So they're the ones I would use to kill barbarians. The big boys and big girls there. I had 2 marches, so I got top 20 with Huo, YSG, and Zug. Because I don't have a second tank march, so I just used a big AoE march with good equipment. Worked fine. A lot of hard work, but it does work. you can't, there's different ways of doing it. Some people are more patient than me. They want to get like 6 barbarians in every single chain. I'm happy with 2. My logic is, so what you saw there took me about 300k AP. If you play a lot during KVK, a lot, like I did with that grinding, you're still probably not going to use all your AP. So there's no point waiting for the right moment. If you can get 2 or more barbs, I just go for it. Ideally, you want the higher levels, which is why it's good to theoretically wait till later on. But then we go back to the essential principle of this video. 1 crystal on day 1 is worth more than 10 crystals on day 10. Well, yeah, but maybe on the last day, maybe that's not the greatest thing, but the fewer crystals early on are worth a lot. So I would just grind as soon as you can. Everyone should be grinding the second they get to Kingsland, because those early eco boosts are what it's all about as a free-to-play player. That is the ultimate guide secret, effectively. You push hard, you push early, you push eco. And Barbarian chaining is a great way of doing it. I'll just put some marches on the screen quickly for ones I would recommend. I know we've talked about it, but let's get some to look at. So looking here very quickly. First march I have Boudica Heraclius. Second march, Duke Liang Herman, same logic. This is on my other account, incidentally. These are just examples of one to use. Dido Heraclius is irrelevant here. There's that one. But Richard and YSG will do the bulk of the heavy lifting. Richard just lives forever. You don't even need equipment on him. I usually switch all my best equipment over, but sometimes I forget. Richard still lives. And finally, Cao Theodora. I don't have Huo on this account. Huo Theodora would be better. You can basically pair any of these primaries with any of these secondaries, and they all work a treat. Barbarian grinding, it's boring, it's dull, but you get so many materials, you get so many crystals compared to the amount of work you have to do. Chain. My advice, especially early on in KVK, yes, you miss out on like using 80 AP later in KVK to kill a bigger level barb, higher level barb, gets you more crystal and more honor than using the same 80 AP on day 1. But as we keep saying, the day 1, day 2, day 3 crystals are so much more important than later on. So I would strongly recommend you prioritize chaining as soon as the Lost Kingdom opens. Right, friends, that is, as I see it, a nice introductory video to how to grind like a boss as a free-to-play player in KVK to get your crystal tech up there. As we saw, I got to 90 million crystals spent as a free-to-play this KVK. I'm hopeful that in the next one we can spend more because we have more of these to play around with. We will start with this. Hopefully this will honor my belief, my strong belief that every crystal you spend early on in the KVK is much more valuable than later on. Not only that, you can get more conquest coins from doing it as long as you get some sevs, get some season coins with which you can buy equipment, buy horns, buy rings, whatever. Load of great stuff. It's not just the beauty of grinding the crystals in and of themselves, it's the stuff you get along with it. But of course, more crystals means more strength after your eco tech's done. Skill points, more sevs. So, if you want to take something away from this and you can't be asked to watch all of it, here's the quick, too long, don't read. Number 1, Bastions. Bastions are so important. 3 types of quest. Anything that does a whistle is the most important. Otherwise, you're going for barbarians, runes, research, a whistle, building, and then ignore all the donation things. It's all crap. Sometimes you will need to do the second strata of quests in order to get access to anything with a whistle, but ignore the bot. You never have to do the donate thing, so just ignore all the donate things. Strong advice on that. Barbarian grinding, it's huge. Just chain. Don't think, oh, I can just chain later on in the KVK, because you can, but then you miss all the great stuff at the beginning. You miss all the snowball effect, which goes into number 3, economy. I would say the most important thing is to max your economy in your Crystal Research Center as soon as possible. Get the mine to level 25, that's what I do, and then you can let your research center sort of grow organically. You know when you have to upgrade it because it tells you. Yes, it's a bit more expensive to do it this way because you lose a tiny bit of crystal savings of each crystal on each research boost, but you also get the benefit of not having to spend it on upgrading the research center to begin with. You can spend it on economy, and that pretty much offsets the extra expenditure. So if you save like 0.2% on one research, yes, you'll lose that saving if you research that with a lower crystal research center, but if you go for Plunder, for instance, or Kalkarawak, then you'll get much more crystals in the long run. Finally, as soon as you get Kalkarak, smash it out. You want to get it as soon as possible, quickly as possible. Passive income, you can't beat it. Right, my friends, I hope this was of some use. And I hope that next time I can get to 100 million crystals spent in KVK. Till then, I'd love to hear what your highest free-to-play KVK crystal expenditure is. Let me know in the comments. I hope this was of some use. I shall salute you all, be migrating to a different kingdom in a few minutes. I will see you for the next video. Hope your free-to-play crystal tech game goes up, up, and up. Ciao for now.